Chapter 290 Team Sun Moon. Hikatu's first feeling when he grabbed Huo Yuao's soul tool was balance. It was an indescribable sense of harmony. It was as if this wasn't a soul tool at all, but a piece of metal. Its texture felt very similar to that of solid metal. Every part of the milk bottle gave him the same feeling. The weight and everything else felt like that. This feeling was too miraculous. Hikatu's milk bottle was much less balanced compared to Huo Yuao's milk bottle. Even it was roughly similar to Huo Yuao's milk bottle in terms of appearance. Little. Second brother, your class 3 milk bottle isn't a class 4 soul tool. It's better than a class 4 soul tool. Hikatu couldn't help but rave over Huo Yuao's milk bottle. Huo Yua chortled and replied, I felt very good just now. It seems like the tense atmosphere of this tournament helps me to focus better. There were outsiders around, and thus he naturally couldn't say that it was his first time testing out the spiritual power obtained from his concrete immaterial realm by fusing it into the entire production process. Hikatu gestured and called for the referees behind them. He passed his and Huo Yuao's milk bottles to the referees. The two referees held their milk bottles separately and said, I'll need the two of you to wait. We'll need the chief referee to test your milk bottles out. When he's done, we'll verify the results. Huo Yua signaled for them to leave. He and Hikatu looked at each other and revealed light smiles of confidence. For some reason, Huo Yua felt that Hikatu's eyes were very bright today. It might be because such a soul engineering tournament was what he was truly interested in. Huo Yua could even sense the excitement coming from him. Very soon, Chenin walked over. He was holding the milk bottles that Huo Yua and Hikatu had made. He was completely astonished at this moment. He arrived in front of Huo Yua and asked softly, Is this your work? He handed the milk bottle that Huo Yua had made back over to him. Huo Yua received his milk bottle and nodded. Chenin took in a deep breath, and his eyes were filled with respect. It's perfect. His admiration came from the bottom of his heart. He hadn't respected Huo Yua the first time he had demonstrated his evil soul powers. He had only feared him. Huo Yua smiled and asked, Have we passed? Then, of course. Chenin answered without any hesitation. After seeing your work today, I'm more and more confident that you'll be able to compete on behalf of the Dust Water Alliance. However, I won't submit your milk bottle. This is a secret of the illustrious Virtue Hall. Surely you didn't install a self-destruction component, right? Huo Yua proudly said, If I added such a component, it wouldn't be perfect. Am I right? I'll give it to you. If you get into trouble because of this in the future, you'll have to handle the responsibility. You are giving it to me? Chenin was shocked. Even though he knew it was a class 3 milk bottle, he had tested it out, and knew that a class 4 milk bottle was unable to handle the amount of soul power that it could contain. It was able to work like a class 4 milk bottle with the structure of a class 3 milk bottle. It was magical. He was even more shocked by the sealed-in system that the milk bottle contained. Yes, Huo Yua had created a sealed milk bottle. It was precisely because of this that he had to complete 2 more sealed formation arrays compared to Hikatu. They even had to be separated by an exact distance. They were installed into the milk bottle using his acute sensors, allowing the milk bottle to be completely sealed. Although such a milk bottle was expensive, it wasn't the reason why Chenin was shocked. He was shocked by Huo Yua's technique. Huo Yua didn't mark the milk bottle or install any self-destruction components. This also meant that he could dismantle this milk bottle to research how Huo Yua had managed to create it. To him, this was something that couldn't be bought with money. Huo Yua said, Give us a verification that proves we've advanced to the next round. We are returning. Chenin took in a deep breath. Apart from the admiration in his eyes, there were other emotions as he looked at Huo Yua. I can't thank you enough for your generosity. Don't worry, I'll do anything you want me to. Huo Yua waved his hand and said, Can you get as many rare metals as you can for me? I'm willing to buy them. You should know how soul engineers like us need rare metals. Without sufficient quantities of them, we'll be unable to carry out some experiments. It isn't convenient for us to move around outside either. Yes. I'll help you gather all types of rare metals. Chenin answered without any hesitation. Huo Yua lifted his hand and swept the remaining rare metals on the carving table into his starlight sapphire storage type ring. After obtaining the verification from Chenin, Hikatu pushed Yuao's wheelchair as they left the stage. Hikatu didn't stand on ceremony either. He also put the remaining rare metals on the table into his storage type soul tool. Before leaving the hall, Huo Yua also passed on some instructions to Chenin. He only returned to meet Wang Donga and Nanao after doing so, before they left the Green Hotel and returned to the Mingyue Hotel. Little Junior, can we trust that person? Hikatu whispered to Huo Yua as they were about to reach the Mingyue Hotel. Huo Yua smiled and answered, There shouldn't be any problems in the short term. In his heart, he believes that I'm an important figure in the Holy Ghost Church. I've also given him a lot of benefits. He won't do anything harmful to us before those benefits disappear. By helping us, he'll also stand to gain tremendously. I've already proven that to him today. If you were him, what would you do? I believe Chenin is a clever person. Clever people will do clever things. Furthermore, if we take a step back and assume he reports us to the Dust Water Alliance, I'll discover it once danger arises. It'll be convenient for us to escape any problems. There won't be any major obstacles. His body stiffened as he finished speaking. His expression also changed. Wang Donga's gaze was fixed on him. Seeing that his body had stiffened up so suddenly, she hurriedly asked, Yuao, what's wrong? Huo Yua laughed bitterly. I just received a premonition. I suddenly felt very surprised, as if something important was going to happen. Furthermore, it's something that's not good for us. Wang Donga, Hikatu and Nanao became more alert. They slowed down, and Huo Yua also unleashed his spiritual detection as he surveyed their surroundings. He didn't discover anything, and everything seemed very normal. However, the sensation didn't seem to disappear. They didn't discover anything even when they reached their room in the hotel. They weren't subjected to any ambushes, either. Hikatu couldn't help but ask, Yuao, are you being too sensitive? Huo Yua shook his head lightly and replied, That feeling was very sudden. I don't know what's going on, either. However, my premonitions are very accurate, considering my spiritual power. Everyone, please rest early. Be careful tonight. If there are any changes, we must inform one another according to our arrangement. All right. Hikatu and Nanao acknowledged his words before returning to their rooms to rest. As if Hikatu's words were being proven, nothing happened the entire night. The sensation that Huo Yua felt also slowly disappeared. He washed his face and ate his breakfast. Even he was doubtful at this point, and muttered to himself, Was I really being too sensitive last night? I don't feel so suppressed anymore. However, I feel like I've forgotten something. Wang Donga smiled and said, It's all right to be wrong occasionally. After all, it wasn't a good thing, either. I wonder who will be facing in the round robin stage. It's the lot drawing ceremony today. Sister Nanan and Third Senior have gone for it. I'm sure she won't let Third Senior draw the lot this time. Haha. Huo Yua shuddered when he heard the words lot drawing ceremony. He lost his voice as he said, Don't tell me my premonition has something to do with the groupings in the round robin stage. Wang Donga was stunned. Just when she was about to open her mouth, she heard a frantic knocking sound. After the third elimination round, they had been moved to the 4th story of the hotel, and their rooms were bigger now than they were before. There were also more facilities they had been given access to. Who is it? Wang Donga walked over to open the door. Jiang Nanan and Shu Sanchi were standing outside. Wang Donga couldn't help but mutter to herself when she saw the both of them. Don't tell me that Yuao was spot on. Donga. Jiang Nanan was sobbing, and hugged Wang Donga. I'm sorry. I don't know why it turned out like this. Shu Sanchi was standing to one side and appeared very helpless. It's okay. We can just fight it out. Huo Yua pushed his wheelchair over. What's going on? Third Senior, 4th Senior, how's the situation for our round robin stage? Shu Sanchi laughed bitterly. Not too good. Huo Yua was slightly tense. How bad? Shu Sanchi replied, We are meeting the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy again. In addition, Shrek's official team is also in the same group as us. The tournament's organizing committee must have rigged this. We are even meeting Team Sun Moon in the first fight. This means that we are fighting them for 2 rounds straight. We've already conceded once. What should we do this time? What? Huo Yua lost his voice. If there was a team that Huo Yua didn't want to face in this tournament, it wasn't Team Sun Moon or the mysterious yet powerful Holy Ghost Sect team. It was Shrek's team. This had nothing to do with Wang Yua. It was because of Shrek. Elderson had given them special permission to compete on behalf of their sect so that they could establish the Tang Sect. The duty of protecting Shrek's glory had been passed on to the hands of Wang Yua and the rest. If they met Shrek in the tournament, how were they going to deal with this conundrum? If they personally eliminated Shrek, they would forever feel guilty over it. This was only the round robin stage, but they were already in the same group as Shrek Academy. This was the worst news they could possibly receive. Jiang Nanan lowered her head. Her eyes were red as she said, I drew the lot today. I didn't expect to be so unlucky, too. I'm sorry, Yuao. It's all my fault. After a brief moment of shock, Huo Yua calmed down and revealed a reassuring smile on his face. He said, "Fourth senior, don't put it this way. You've drawn a good lot for us. How is it disastrous? I believe it's the best lot that we could have drawn." Jiang Nanan was stunned for a moment before she laughed bitterly. "Yuao, you don't have to comfort me." Huo Yua shook his head and answered, "I'm not doing that. I really think so. Think about it. If we're in the same group as Shrek, we can team up with them. According to the rules, we'll never meet before the final. Isn't that the best situation that we could desire?" Shu Sanchi was speechless. "Brother, did you hear us carefully? We're also in the same group as Sun Moon. We're even facing them first." Huo Yua smiled and replied, "Just get rid of them." The 5 simple words that he uttered left the other 3 in the room stunned. Jiang Nanan's red eyes slowly revealed a determined look. Wang Dongga squinted and said, "That's right. Let's just get rid of them. We can even pave the path for Shrek. It's best that we meet them first. Let's destroy them." Shu Sanchi gave Huo Yua a thumbs up and said, "You are awe-inspiring." Huo Yua smiled and didn't say anything else. Yes. They could just destroy the Sun Moon team. Did they really have to be scared of them? They conceded defeat in the last round for a tactical reason, but this time, they had to fight. Since this was the case, then they should just give it their all. Why should the Tang Sect be afraid of the Sun Moon team? Third senior, I'll have to trouble you to call everyone here. We'll be competing tomorrow, so we need to discuss our strategy. All right. Shu Sanchi turned around without hesitation and left. In a short span of time, he managed to gather Hikatu, Xiao Xiao, and Nana, and even Nan Kirkayu, Ji Juikan, and Jing Zian. Fortunately, Huo Yuao's room had been upsized. It wasn't that packed anymore, even with everyone there. Huo Yuao wore a serious expression and said, "We'll be facing a strong opponent tomorrow, thus I'll need to form our strategy today. We must win this fight and try our best to bring them down so that Shrek's team has a chance against them. First, I hope no one tells eldest senior that we are facing the Sun Moon team. I don't want him to worry and let him focus on recovering. With his current condition, he can only fight when we reach the quarterfinal. If he worries too much, I'm afraid it might affect his condition." Everyone nodded as they agreed with Huo Yuao's opinion. Huo Yua continued, "We have only one goal in the individual elimination round. Weaken the abilities of our opponents. For Shrek Academy and the Tang Sect, let's not hold back anymore. However, we must also watch our own safety. We only have 7 of us left, not even one substitute. Once we lose a member, we'll find it difficult against them in the later stages even if we win the first fight." Nan Kirkayu pursed her lips and said, "If only I could compete." Huo Yuao snapped, "There's no point in saying that now. Nan Kirkayu was angry the moment she saw him. Even though she had joined the Tang Sect to avoid being punished by her mother, she didn't have a good impression of Huo Yuao. Huo Yuao didn't bother with her and said, "The team round will decide which team will eventually win. However, it's very important for us to weaken our opponents in the individual elimination round. We need to arrange the order in which we compete carefully. I'll go first." Jiang Nanan said decisively. She was the one who had drawn the lot, and thus she blamed herself for it. She had even berated Shu Sanchi in the last round. Right now, she felt extremely guilt-stricken. No, Sister Nanan, have you forgotten what I said? If we fight the Sun Moon team, I'll be the one to go first, Wang Dongga said without any hesitation. Jiang Nanan furrowed her brow and retorted, "Dongga, this is not the time to be emotional. Your cultivation is higher, so you should among the last few to compete. If you compete first, your energy and power will be greatly depleted. When it comes to the team round, we'll still need to rely on your martial soul fusion skills with Yuao." Wang Dongga replied, "Fourth senior, listen to me. Choosing to compete first isn't an emotional decision. Xiao and Meng Hingchen are undoubtedly the core of the Sun Moon team. In my opinion, Meng Hingchen's venom is more difficult to deal with. Even though Xiao Hingchen's abilities are greater, the venom from her vermilion clear eye stone can greatly deplete one's soul power. Once you are unable to unleash any soul power, you'll be knocked out. Senior Da Yueheng lost to her back then even though he was so strong. Once Meng Hingchen enters the stage, which one of you are confident of beating her? Only Huo Yuao's ultimate eyes can curb her. However, Huo Yuao is our main control soul master. Furthermore, he can't overexert his body because of his physical condition. He's also the one we need to achieve victory in the team round. Considering all this, no one is more suitable than me to fight her." Nan Kirkayu was curious. "Why is that so?" Wang Dongga smiled and said, "It's because my fire of light can curb her venom. At the same time, it's also because of some special feelings that she has for me. I'm not trying to exploit her feelings, but at least I know she won't try to kill me. This can tip the balance in my favor. At the same time, Yuao can discover her weaknesses even if I lose through his control and detection." Nan Kirkayu opened her eyes wide and said, She likes you? She's really shameless." Shu Sanchi slapped his forehead and shouted, "Kirkayu, your logic is really good. She's shameless because she likes Wang Dong. Don't you like him too?" Nan Kirkayu's face turned red, and she turned around, refusing to reply to Shu Sanchi. Although she was quite willful, she was a very straightforward person, and said anything she wanted to. Over the past few days, she had slowly integrated into the Tang Sect. Huo Yuan knew that it was time for him to express his opinion. He understood Wang Dongga very well. He knew that she had said all that to compete first and handle more of the pressure. Who could be sure that Meng Hingchen would be the first to compete from the Sun Moon team? What if she wasn't the first? Wang Dongga would still have to face her opponent, and her opponent might even be Xiao Hingchen. Both parties were arch enemies. They couldn't be surprised by any tactics that the Sun Moon team used. All right, Dongga will be the first to compete then. Huo Yuan made his decision. Even though he was gripping the handle of his wheelchair tightly at this point, he still made this difficult decision. They were a single entity. He couldn't leave her behind to fight just because of their relationship. However, eldest senior has instructed me to command the entire team in this tournament. Whether it's Dongga or anyone else, all of you must listen to my instructions. Whoever I choose to compete will compete, and whoever I choose to remain on the bench will remain on the bench. This is so that we can eventually achieve victory. Whoever doesn't listen to my instructions will not compete anymore. Seniors, Dongga, and Nana, I hope all of you understand where I'm coming from. There can only be one voice during the tournament. Huo Yuao sounded very calm now, but he appeared much more inspiring than he had been before. His eyes were filled with a look of determination. Even Hikatu and Shu Sanchi, who were both the oldest, were stunned when they saw the look in his eyes. Right now, they were impressed by his aura. Hikatu was the first to express his support. He said, "I agree. There can only be one voice during the tournament. I believe Yuao will be able to lead us to victory." "Me too," Shu Sanchi added without any hesitation. They were brothers, but they were also teammates. If their hearts were not in unison against a strong opponent, they would already have lost half the battle. The rest didn't object either. Huo Yuao's gaze eventually landed on Wang Dongga. Wang Dongga looked at his burning gaze before glancing at his immobile left arm and lower limbs, and then nodded immediately. She knew that Huo Yuao would do something crazy. Something happened to her because she was being stubborn. He had landed in this state because of her. How could she bear to see him hurt because of her again? Morning. A cool and refreshing air blew through Radiant City under the illumination of the morning sun. It was chilly outside. It was the most comfortable season right now. The weather today was especially good. Inhaling the refreshing air along the streets of Radiant City felt very soothing. The entire city had been bustling with activity over the past few days. Whether it was day or night, the streets were packed with people. The Continental Elite Youth Soul Master Tournament had finally entered the round-robin stage. The confusion and mess from the presence of too many teams had finally ended. In the round-robin stage, more and more strong teams would face off against one another. It was early morning, and a huge crowd had already gathered at the suburbs where the tournament venue was. They were waiting excitedly for the tournament to truly begin. The rules of the round-robin stage weren't as direct as they were in the elimination rounds. The 32 teams that had advanced to the round-robin stage were divided into 4 groups. The 8 teams in each group would face off against each of the rest of the 7 teams once. On the first day, 4 matches would be held in the first 2 groups. On the second day, another 4 matches would be held in the next 2 groups. This would continue until all the matches were completed. The entire round-robin stage would last around 14 days. The top 2 teams from each group would progress to the quarterfinals. The last 8 would compete in the quarterfinals, and the victorious 4 teams would advance to the semifinals. The winners of each semifinal match would then progress to the finals, where the eventual champion would be decided. The Tang Sect, Shrek Academy, and the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy were arranged in the same group. Since the rest of the 5 teams could make it past the elimination rounds, they were naturally sealed to. Their group was the group of death. Furthermore, the Tang Sect and the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy were going to face off in the first match of the round-robin stage. This format isn't very good for us. Meng Hingchen and Xiao Hingchen were walking together to the tournament venue. How is it not good for us? I think it's pretty advantageous for us. Only one of the Tang Sect and Shrek Academy will Shrek Academy will enter the quarterfinals. Isn't that great? Xiao Hingchen said heartlessly. Meng Hingchen rolled her eyes and said, this is what you want, but not what they want. Do you really think the Tang Sect will give up this time? Xiao Hingchen was stunned. Why not? Didn't they do so in the last round? I think it's only wise for them to make the same choice. While the rest of the teams aren't that weak, they shouldn't be our match, either. Isn't it good for them to enter the quarterfinal with us before we meet in the final? Of course, the condition is that either we or them have to beat the Holy Ghost Sect. Come to think of it, we haven't discovered which team is from the Body Sect. Meng Hingchen was a little annoyed as she looked at her elder brother and said, elder brother, please grow up. Those people from the Tang Sect come from Shrek Academy. If you were in their shoes, would you be willing to progress with your archenemy, or progress with Shrek Academy by teaming up with them? I don't think they'll give up today. Even if they can't beat us, they'll try their best to deplete our powers. On the contrary, I think we should concede defeat in this match. As long as we beat Shrek's team, we can progress. Compared to the Tang Sect, Shrek is weaker. Concede defeat. Xiao Hingchen opened his eyes wide. Younger sister, is your brain damaged? Are you asking us to concede defeat to the Tang Sect in front of His Majesty and Grandpa? Not everyone knows about the Tang Sect's background, but Grandpa knows. They might not even choose to fight us. Even if they do, it'll be a great opportunity to exact revenge on them. At most, we'll just reveal our true abilities earlier. Who are you? Is crippled right now. If we concede defeat, how can we ever show our face in the Empire again? Bro. Meng Hingchen wanted to say something, but she was interrupted by Xiao Hingchen. Xiao Hingchen looked much more serious all of a sudden. Meng, I know that you're smarter than me most of the time. However, do you know why Grandpa made me the team leader instead of you? Meng Hingchen was stunned. Xiao Hingchen said, we are competing for glory. At times, it's not good to be overly rational. We need to have a forward-looking spirit. Have you ever thought what the motivational impact would be on the team if we can defeat the Tang Sect? You don't have to say anything else. No matter what, we must never give up on this match. Meng Hingchen sighed and said, elder brother, I know what the benefits of winning are. However, if we lose, shut up. Don't you know it's extremely dangerous to undermine our chances before we even fight? I've already made my decision. Since you lack fighting spirit, I shall not let you compete first. You'll be the last. In the individual round, we still can make choices. Our fight with the Tang Sect will be decided in the team round. Meng Hingchen sighed and didn't add anything else. Xiao Hingchen wasn't wrong, either. At times, a determined mindset was more important than rationality. In the previous edition of the tournament, their overall abilities were greater than Shrek Academy's, and they still lost. After they returned, they tried to summarize the reason why they lost, and they came to a conclusion. Belief. Shrek's 7 monsters had been inspired to fight for Shrek's glory, along with Ma Xiaodao and Dai Yueheng's abilities. They eventually defeated the stronger Sun Moon team. Xiao Hingchen was still bothered by that defeat. Over the past 5 years, he had cultivated tirelessly almost every day so that he could avenge his humiliation. He had sacrificed a lot, and no one was clearer about that than Meng Hingchen. That was why she stopped trying to convince him. In her heart, her fighting spirit was also lit. The resting area at the side of the tournament stage had been renovated over the past 2 days, and only the original VIP resting area was left. The resting area was also redecorated, and the original wooden benches were switched to comfortable sofas. After all, there would be at most be 8 teams at once in the resting area. It wasn't packed as tightly as before. When Xiao Hingchen and Meng Hingchen brought their team to the tournament venue, they immediately saw the Tang Sect in the resting area. Bei Bei was still absent. The rest of Shrek's 7 monsters were all seated. Who are you? Ao's eyes were shut. It seemed like he was resting his mind, while the rest of them appeared to be very calm. Meng Hingchen even suspected that she was wrong when she saw them. Were they really going to give up this match? At this point, someone from the Tang Sect stood up and walked towards the Sun Moon team. Xiao Hingchen squinted at him and stopped in his tracks. Shu Sanqi was the one who had walked over. He walked in front of Xiao Hingchen and Meng Hingchen and said, it's been a long time. How are the both of you? Xiao Hingchen's facial muscles twitched. It's been a long time. Were you blind over the past few days? Yes. Long time no see. Xiao Hingchen revealed a foxy smile on his face. Shu Sanqi sighed and said, time passes really quickly. I never expected us to meet 5 years later. In the previous round, we decided to surrender because we understand how tough it must be on the both of you. I wonder if you can return the favor today. It'll be great if we can progress together. Xiao Hingchen snorted. We are not so spineless. Shu Sanqi looked very sad. I hope the few people who died back then are resting in peace now. If I can, I'd like to go over to pay my respects. It's hard to show mercy during the tournament. We're really not being hostile. You. Xiao Hingchen was furious, and almost snapped. However, Shu Sanqi had already turned around and left. Meng Hingchen dragged him back. Don't be fooled. He's trying to provoke you. Xiao Hingchen quickly calmed down. However, his eyes looked very cold, to the point that his expression was almost frightening. Even if he didn't remind me, I will never forget our vendetta from the previous tournament. The 8 teams who were supposed to compete in the morning had already arrived. Shrek's team was seated beside the Tang Sect. Wang Qiuer was very close to Hua Yuao, around 3 meters apart. Hua Yuao's eyes were still shut, and he didn't move in his wheelchair. It was as if he were asleep. Wang Qiuer had seen him when she first arrived. However, she didn't fix her gaze on him. The cold look on her face was even more intense than before. Her ferocious aura could be felt even if one got slightly close to her. Hi, Qiuer. Wang Donga was seated beside Hua Yuao and greeted Wang Qiuer. Wang Qiuer only nodded at Wang Donga and didn't say anything back. Wang Donga was dressed like a man now, whereas Wang Qiuer was wearing a veil. It wasn't easy to tell they were identical. Dai Huabin also looked very cold, not much different from Wang Qiuer. Zhu Lu and Wu Feng were openly hostile towards the Tang Sect. Xu Wanyu and Ning Tian were expressionless. On the other hand, Zhou Xigan and Cao Jingxuan were winking at Wang Donga and Xia Xiao occasionally. The Lan sisters who were substitutes wore smiles on their faces. Up on the main stage, Zhu Zi pushed Xu Tianran over to the main spot. After tidying up his shirt, she sat down beside him. Xu Tianran grabbed her hand and placed it on his thigh. He tapped her hand gently. Zhu Zi smiled and looked very cute. Xu Tianran smiled as he said, today's first match is between the Sun Moon team and the Tang Sect. It should be quite interesting. Zhu Zi smiled and asked, really? The Sun Moon team will surely win. Xu Tianran twisted his head to look at Jing Hingchen and asked, Hallmaster Hingchen, what do you think? Jing Hingchen furrowed his brow as he replied, I think it's difficult to tell. This is only the round robin stage. Both parties won't be eliminated even if they lose. It's difficult to tell whether they'll give their best. If they do, it'll also be difficult to tell the outcome. The eventual victory will be decided in the team round. For teams like these two which are very close in terms of abilities, the elimination round is only a way to deplete each other's power and increase their own advantage. It's a way to ensure greater chances for the team round. Xu Tianran smiled and asked, Hallmaster Jing, have you arranged a strategy for the Sun Moon team? Jing Hingchen returned the smile and answered, an eagle's wings will always remain weak if it doesn't learn how to fly on its own. I let them do whatever they want. My grandson and granddaughter have been working hard over the past few years so that they can defeat the bunch from the Tang Sect in this tournament. I'm also eager to see what'll go down, even though I hope that they won't need to give it their all at this stage. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.